Hey, everybody. Super excited to be here with you today. I am Rebecca Satori, and I am going to coach you live. If you have questions live, we're going to go through what you can do today to create a quantum money leap in your life or your business. At this point, everyone has needed out of necessity sometimes, or even just sometimes you can find that you get stagnant in your business. And before we sit down, I was going to give you a little tour of my patio. Hey, Michelle, welcome, because we just kind of got it like all set up yesterday, and I'm super excited. So let me take a moment to invite a few people too. Let's see, anyone who's joining, Michelle, if you want to invite anyone, that would be awesome. Let's see, invite a friend to your broadcast. Alrighty. I haven't done the invite a friend thing. That's bring a friend onto your podcast or you're watching. Hello. All right. So I'm looking. Let me see here. No, that's effects. All right. Well, we'll forgo this. Hey, Laura, how are you? I'm like totally forgetting how to invite people live here. But anyway, so I'm going to turn the camera around and show you guys. Aren't these lights so cool? I just put them up yesterday. So it's really nice to come out here and relax in the evening, and got it all nice and cleaned up. And then down here, I don't know if you guys can see up in the corner, like there's a little tiny bit, let me try and point right there, of nest hanging down. Hey, Angelique, how are you? Thank you. So good to see you too. So anyways, there's a cute little wren that made a bird's nest up there, and there are little baby wrens up there. So, it's just absolutely gorgeous here today. I'm so happy to see the sunshine. This is my backyard, and down there, you can't really see right now, but, I have a pathway along a stream that we have on our property, which is just so amazing. So to wake up and hear the birds every day is just outstanding. For those of you who do Facebook Lives, you see our little setup over here. And thanks, Angelique. Super excited. It's such a juicy space. And this is actually where I host my private intensive clients. Then we just paid a handyman to put our screens on, which we did not have when we first moved in the middle of the summer last year. And I am so excited because they're actually like French door screens. So I'll bring you in here and show you my office. I've showed you guys my office before, but this is where the magic happens. Lots of space to be able to film, got lighting, got gorgeousness to map out all kinds of stuff. I have a sales challenge that I'm coming up with that I'm going to be doing towards the end of June. Super excited for that. People are going to actually get actual results on the sales challenge when we do this towards the end of June, because I'm going to be traveling soon in Florida and doing a new photo shoot, and I'm super excited for that. So aren't these doors like the bomb, you guys? I just love being able to have this whole indoor outdoor living space, and it just totally lit me up. And we'll be talking about some on the Facebook Live today, but it totally lit me up to get these doors, these screen doors put on. I like super wanted them last year, and we just got them put on this year. And it's amazing how sometimes just the tiniest little thing can completely shift your energy. And that's basically what we're talking about here, right? So I'm going to be in Florida. I'm going to be visiting Megan and Sean. So we'll have to definitely meet up, Laura, in person. We're going to fly into Fort Myers, and then we have a house in Venice, Florida on the Gulf side. So we'll be staying there primarily. Thank you. Good story about this dress. I got it from a boutique in Boston because this girl that I met in the Dominican Republic in October had the exact same dress on. I was freaking in love with it, and it was like $40. So you gotta love those kinds of things. I just got these new earrings this week from my friend Rachel Mulheron, who's a phenomenal jewelry designer. And then I went to another grand opening boutique party. I love boutiques, and got this hat this week. So I was very excited to pair it up with this dress. So yeah, let's definitely meet up, definitely. And also, Laura, we're going down to South Seas Island Resort in Captiva Island, Florida, because we're looking at it as a possible wedding venue. So lots of very exciting things are happening. And even when exciting things aren't happening, this is what we're going to talk about today, right? Creating this quantum money leap. We're going to go through 5 steps that I have used over and over and over again to manifest all kinds of things. I have manifested this dream home, which is just truly an absolute dream home. I know, we're not there yet, Michelle. I'm still in the waiting phase, but yeah, we're kind of proceeding a little bit with some looking, if you will, and thank you. So anyhow, we will start out with what I believe is the most important thing over and over again. It is words, thoughts, and stories. So having a layer of consciousness around what are the words that you're using, what are the thoughts that you're thinking, and the words that you're using and the stories that you're telling are always the indicators of the thoughts that you're thinking. So if you feel like, sometimes you're not aware of your feelings, or sometimes you're not aware of what you're thinking or feeling or whatever, and the fastest way to tune in is to start writing. And one of the ways that you can do this, just to give you a tangible exercise that you can actually use, hey Alyssa, welcome, is to write out 3 pages. And the way that I personally do this is I write out, I release and I let go of, and I put, dear God, I release and I let go of. So what are you handing over to God? What are you surrendering? What situation, what obstacle, what challenge, what feelings, what consciousness, what are you going to give up over to God and release and let go of? What are you no longer desiring to have in your life any longer? And feel free to share this Facebook Live if you feel called to. That would be awesome. Say hello, where you're tuning in from. And also, if you have any questions on this topic, I love to coach live. It's absolutely one of my favorite things to do. But anyhow, so that is going to help you. The page 2 that you're going to write is I am filled with gratitude for. And then the third that you'll write is I open up, I desire, call forth, and receive. Or you could say I open up to receive. You don't have to get it exact. I think a lot of times when you see someone else having success, you think if I duplicate exactly what they're doing, like they're waking up at 6 a.m., I'm going to get up at 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. and they're doing this specific meditation or this specific journaling exercise or this specific exercise routine. Everybody is different, and you have to really, I always say self-knowledge is the most powerful knowledge on the face of this planet. So, hey Erica, hey Brenda, welcome. So great to see you guys here. If you really want to get the most out of this Facebook Live, it's going to be to take this time and focus on it, or you can save this video for later and come back to it and take some notes and then actually implement what it is that you're learning. Hey Brenda, welcome. So good to see you here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We tend to jump around a lot and our brains are very scattered. And in order to get results, especially with the formula that I'm giving you, again, this is a formula that I have used for years and years and years to continue to grow my success and my happiness and my joy and my fulfillment and the things that show up in my external world as a result of that. Really, truly living a happier, healthier, wealthier, more fulfilled life year after year, day after day. So awesome, Jupiter, Florida. I've heard it's gorgeous there. I've not yet been there, but it's definitely on my list of places that I would like to visit. I have a friend who used to live there and she raves about how amazing it is. We have a house in Venice, Florida. So we're in Florida a couple times a year usually. Okay, so this journaling exercise is going to help you get so clear, but the key that no one usually talks about when you do this journaling exercise is the feelings. And I'm going to give you an example because back in 2013, I was in Santa Barbara, California, and I was staying at this beautiful, beautiful home overlooking Hendry's Beach. For those of you who've never been there, it's outstanding, and they have an amazing bar and restaurant called the Boathouse, which I love. And I was doing an intensive with my mentor at the time in her home for 4 days. And it was one of the most transformational times in my life, because I am a firm believer of immersion, and we're going to get into that component of Quantum Money Leaps in a moment. But this is a little preview. And being immersed in someone else's lifestyle that is making more money than you, or that is wealthier than you, or has something that it is that you desire, is one of the fastest paths to transformation. And I have proven that myself by doing it over and over again, along with the women that come here to stay in my home overnight and have their own private intensive. It is the fastest path to transformation. But let's just go back to the journaling exercise. So here I was, daily commuting to my mentor's home in Santa Barbara, and also staying in Santa Barbara at another friend of mine. And I was journaling outside under the lemon and lime trees. Oh my gosh, you guys, sincerely, like citrus trees on the East Coast. So and in Maryland. So being in California with citrus trees was like definitely a dream come true. And I'm out there and I'm journaling. And for me, the reason why I'm using this example is because it was the most intense time that I ever felt such emotion, such a and a power of emotion. And so when you're doing this journaling exercise, it's not just like, hey, let me get this done. It's something on my to-do list and get it over and done with. It's really to cultivate these feelings. And there have been times where I will make deals with God, and I'm like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to journal what I'm grateful for until I shift my energy and I shift how I'm feeling into this tremendous depth of gratitude where I have tears rolling down my face because I am that connected to the level of sacredness that we need to harness. And a lot of people don't talk about sacredness anymore, but you have to tune into the sacredness within your own being, the sacredness in your connection with your higher power, and really feel that level of emotion that you're so incredibly grateful for the people in your life, for your children, if you're a mom or a dad. You know, I have 2 sons, so just tuning into being so grateful for every phase in their life and every obstacle and challenge that arises, and being able to be present with them. Hey, Jennifer, welcome from Canada. Woohoo, Canada in the house. And so really tuning into those feelings and being aware of them and being connected with them and recognizing that they are not you, okay? They're not the real full you. They are just something that's moving through your body system. And what feeling do you want to live in on a daily basis? Do you want to live in the feelings on page 1, which is your frustrations and what you're letting go of? Or do you want to live in the components that you're grateful for, being present with yourself, being present with all of nature, and really truly honoring? You know, one of my favorite prayers is, may I see this person, or may I see this home or this experience as though it was the first time. Hey, great afternoon, Charlene. Good to see you here. And, you know, it's easy when, I've always said, when scarcity occurs in abundance, we devalue it. It's one of my favorite famous quotes. When scarcity occurs in abundance, we devalue it. So in other words, when you're seeing your spouse every day, or you're seeing your children every day, or you're going for a walk, like I can go for a walk on my property every day along the stream, I want to always value that as something that's sacred. I always want to value my partner as the man who is sacred in my life, and see him and love him and connect and relate with him as though it were like the beginning, the first time, you know, where you have this honeymoon connection kind of energy, right? Like I want to have that for as long as we are together, hopefully for the rest of our lives together. And the same thing with my children, you know, honoring that same way. So do the journaling exercise pay attention to the stories you're telling, pay attention to the thoughts that you're thinking and the words that you're using. And then, yes, exactly. And then really keep, focusing in on it, or write a second draft if you have to, or write 100 things that you're grateful for, and maybe even tune into the why. Why are you so immensely grateful for your partner, your husband, your children, your home, your experiences, maybe your wardrobe? Like, there's all kinds of things that fulfill people and bring them joy. I mean, I bought a brand new Jeep about 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm still like really loving my Jeep. I'm able to take the roof off, and hopefully sometime this summer when the weather is a little less rainy, I'll be taking the doors off, and it's an experience for the first time. But I want every spring, summer, and fall that I do that and drive that vehicle to feel that way. And if you find that something is expired, and we're going to move into number 2, when I mean expired, like maybe you don't love the vehicle anymore, maybe it doesn't bring you joy anymore. Don't try and harness a fake emotion, right? Don't try and make something be that's not there. Number 2 is to get around successful people. And I started talking about this in the first one, so we'll dive into this. How do you get around successful people? Well, I've been in the coaching industry for 9 years. I've been in entrepreneurship for 16 years. And before I began my journey as a coach back in 2010, I still am in love with Dr. Wayne Dyer, but I listened to his stuff all of the time back then. I was going through a really challenging situation in my life, being very unfulfilled, not feeling joy, feeling depressed, having a very horrible marriage, being in financial struggle. There were all kinds of things going on, and I was looking for, how do I get out of this? And at the time, books from the library were my support system. And so I was listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer all the time, and he's talking about these gurus and his guru in India and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, I need to go to India. Like, I got to go find some guru somewhere, right? Well, what I realized after I hired my very first coach, as soon as I started my coaching journey, was that you have to invest in these higher level people. And that's how you get around them. That's how I have been able to immerse myself in people who are making multi-million dollars, is to be in their presence as, human beings, and recognize, like, how are they living their life? How are they operating? I remember being in my mentor's home in Santa Barbara, and she had her personal assistant there, and the personal assistant just like showed up with a pitcher of lemon water as we were sitting there working, and it blew me away. And I was like, I want that. And it's the micro things. People think it's the macro things. The way that you get there are the micro habits that you're choosing every single day. What are the micro habits that you have in the area of health? What are the micro habits that you have in the area of business? What are the micro habits that you have with money? How are you treating your money? Are you respecting your money? Are you paying attention to your money? Are you managing your money properly? And unfortunately, this isn't something that we're being taught in schools still today in 2019. It's freaking mind-blowing to me. It's something that I've taught my children. I've opened them up their own checking accounts. They have their own bank card that they can use. And they have, believe it or not, since they were like 12 and 13. So Capital 360 is awesome for that. I actually went to my own bank that I banked with, and they were like, oh, they have to wait till they're 16 or 18 or something. They're not old enough. And I'm like, who's not old enough to learn about how to have a healthy relationship with money? It's totally mind-blowing. So this is your wake-up call to assess, what are your micro habits like in all of these different areas of your life? When your relationship falls flat, it's because maybe your man stopped opening doors for you and you were just like, okay with that. Well, I'm not. What are the micro habits that disappear, that take you in your romantic relationship out of that honeymoon phase? It's not usually just one thing. Sometimes it is. Maybe somebody cheated. Maybe somebody lied and betrayed. Who knows? But for the most part, it is, yes, so much progress, Michelle. I know. We've been connected for so many years. It's so beautiful to watch you continue changing those micro habits. And we are literally trained by society to think this thought. whenever there's a problem, you go on an endless quest to find the one thing, the one secret magic pill diet, the one secret magic pill couples workshop, the one secret business mentor that's going to turn it all around. And it is most of the time in the micro habits. Yes, you need to have quantum leaps, and that's what we're talking about today. You're going to have a quantum money leap if you do everything that I tell you to do, and you'll be able to come back and watch this video again. But you have to do the work, and we'll get to that. That's one of the other too, but I'll explain more about that. I don't know if you guys just saw that. I think the little wren, for those of you who are just tuning in, we have a little wren living up here that has babies. So cute. But anyhow, so it's the micro habits. It's the choices that you're making on a daily basis of what kind of food you're putting in your mouth, how often you're going to the gym. You can't just go to the gym and do like one whole 8-hour long exercise session. You'll wake up and probably not be able to get out of bed the next day because you'll be so sore. But if you go to the gym and you are being active and you're tracking your activity in all areas, then you'll be able to see which micro habits are working and which micro habits are not working. Okay, so getting around successful people, this is 2-part, right? So number 2 actually is 2 parts. It's who do you need to get around and who do you need to get away from, okay? Because as you evolve successfully, you will probably have family, you will probably have friends, you will probably have coworkers or whatever else that are people who are not supporting you to be your most successful self. And you know, there's a broad spectrum here, right? Like, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm just going to not hang out with this person because they have a poverty consciousness. You also have to look at how often are you around this person. And if it's family, then there's a bunch of other problems that can show up with saying, well, I'm just not going to be around, I'm just not going to be around these people, because sometimes when it's family, I don't want to say you don't have a choice, because I believe that you always have a choice, but that you wouldn't choose to just eliminate your family, but just because like they don't think in an abundant mindset, you know. I guarantee you probably have people in your family who aren't thinking as abundantly as you are. But the key is that it's not going to keep you from playing big. The key is that it's not going to keep you staying small, and that you are going to be your big grand self and not feel like you're being too much or you're going to be judged. If that's the case, then you've got inner work to do. It's that simple. People will mirror to you your insecurities. And, you know, I think for me personally, I'm 43 at this point, and I've just gotten to the point where I'm deciding to live my life how I want to live it. And I don't really care what other people think about how I'm living my life and what I'm choosing, who I'm choosing to show up as, because I know in my heart and in my soul and in my bones and blood that I am choosing to show up every day and be a better version of myself. I'm always looking for those micro tweaks of where I can be more effective and more productive and contribute more in my business. And I'm looking for where I can choose to be more healthy. And it doesn't mean that I don't have hiccups and I don't have trouble and I don't have self-sabotage and procrastination. I surely have all of those things. But the good news is that I have an amazing coach that I can go to on a weekly basis or on demand to be able to address my concerns. And because of my level of high awareness, I usually move through things a lot more quickly, which is great, which is why you need to get yourself around bigger thinkers. So if you're just in your everyday cubby, if you want to call it, right, your comfort zone, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Now, this can come in the way, so maybe you need to get into expansion experiences, and you're probably going to feel uncomfortable. I just started taking golf lessons again. You may have seen my picture yesterday from my golf lesson, and it's uncomfortable. It feels awkward. You know, your arms are straight and you're putting your head down and you're trying to rotate your body, and I got home last night and I was sore. But if you're not getting out of your comfort zone often enough, you're not growing fast enough. We're not meant to grow and evolve at this ridiculous slow snail pace. And the fastest way to quantum leap forward in your life and in your business and with your money is to do things that you are not comfortable with. And that moves us into the next step number 3. I'm going to switch them up here because we're kind of flowing intuitively. The next step is action. What are you resisting? And what do you need to do to move the needle with your money, with your business? Sometimes making more money means going and taking a bold money leap and spending money when you feel scared shitless that, like, oh my gosh, this is my last $5,000 or this is my last $10,000. But what are you willing to do? And are you willing to invest in yourself? Because that speaks volumes about, do you believe in your successful outcome? Because if you truly, truly, truly believe in your successful outcome, then you will invest in yourself no matter what. You will do and take the action steps necessary to move the needle in your business or the needle in the areas of health, because everything's all interrelated. And I really firmly believe, I just changed the group name in my Facebook group called Optimal Health and Divine Wealth for Conscious Business Leaders, because I believe that we are in a time where if you aren't taking care of yourself internally and externally and paying great attention to health and wellness, that it's going to make itself and leach toxins into your business success. In fact, I've seen it happen over and over again, which is one of the reasons why I've chosen to even up-level my own health even greater than before. And sometimes I do health coaching with some of my business clients because they're completely interrelated. So you really need to make a list of the things that are going to move you forward, but are they in alignment with your big macro outcome, right? So sometimes people, it's like, I did a webinar on this years ago about busyness versus, are you being productive or are you just being busy? Because some people just want to feel good about crossing things off of a to-do list instead of actually being intentional and conscious about what is the biggest thing right now today. Number one, what are you resisting? Because 9 times out of 10, the thing that you're resisting doing is the thing that's going to move the needle forward. So pay attention to what that is. Maybe it's, I'm resisting going to the gym and exercising on a regular basis week after week. I'm resisting doing client outreach and making phone calls. Stay tuned. We're going to do a 5-day challenge at the end of June for my trip to Florida and my photo shoot that is going to get you results that week. So my team and I are working on getting all of the opt-ins and all of the handouts and all of the everything ready for the challenge, which is going to be really exciting. But one of the challenges is going to be call 20 people. So for those of you who want to have a quantum money leap in your business today, go call 10 people. Start with 10. Don't tell me you don't know 10 people. I have worked behind the scenes of multi-million-dollar companies, and I have talked to coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs from all walks of life, all over the globe. And every time someone would be struggling with money, this is the first thing that I would tell them to do. And the way that you can double your list is every person you talk to, ask for, you could triple your list. Ask for 3 referrals. Do you know anyone else who could use help with X, Y, and Z? Because that will immediately give you more leads, especially if you're a brand new entrepreneur. So challenge yourself, get out of your comfort zone, and take a big quantum action leap, and it will show up in the way of financial success. Maybe not right now today. It totally has the possibility to do that. That has happened to me where I've done client outreach, did not literally just genuinely wanted to connect with people, and the person was like, I want to work with you. What are you selling right now? How much is it? Here's my credit card. Okay, these things can totally be done. You're welcome, Brenda. So glad that that works for you. And come back to my page or PM me and let me know what you manifest as a result. And also be very aware of, this is a great opportunity for you before you do the client outreach to do the journaling exercise, so that you're moving the frustration energy and the clearing out energy, what you want to get rid of, who you no longer want to be around. You're getting that out of your body system, because everything is energy and everyone will feel it 100%. And then you move into the gratitude, and then what are you calling forth, and the desires. And don't be, like, I don't want to take up too much space. Be bold in what you ask for. Don't be like, oh, I just need $10,000 to pay my bills for the next 3 months. Like, no, be bold. And that's what I was doing in Santa Barbara that I was telling you, where I felt this intense, emotional, energetic surge of intense gratitude. And that time just stands out so intensely for me, because what I created right after that was a $25,000 month. Boom, like that. It was so freaking simple. And so you have to do the action steps. Hey, Sabrina, welcome. You have to do those action steps and get yourself out of your comfort zone. And even if you're nervous as heck, you call people. And most people don't even have a system for calling people. I'm just going to throw this out there, everybody. Pick up the phone, not a Facebook message, not a text message. Pick up the phone, even if it's an international call. Use Skype, whatever. When you do your first call, and we're going to cover a lot of this in the sales challenge, and when you do your first call, you don't leave a message, okay? You don't leave a message. Most people don't know this. I have sold millions of dollars. I've done sales for multi-million-dollar companies, interwoven with doing my business over the past 9 years. And the first call that you make, people are like, I don't know this number. I'm not picking it up. But if you call back again in a few minutes, like 10 or 15 minutes, they're like, wait a minute, this person's calling again. Maybe I should pick up. Okay, just a little side sales tip for you there. Those little teeny micro things, like we're talking about, micro habits in your business, will totally move the needle. And that is usually what's bottlenecking your business. It's usually the ceiling in your business. When I work with people and I do private intensives in my home here in Maryland, it's the micro things that people are not, yes, it makes a difference. It's those micro things that I'm looking for that they're not seeing. They're blind to them. And that's normal. That's why you need to have a business mentor and someone who also works intuitively like I do, that is going to get in there and identify, you know what? You're not getting past the $300,000 mark because of this. It's not because you need to add 10 more hours on in your week. A lot of times, and in all the 9 years that I've been doing this, I've never worked 40 hours a week, ever. I'm not available for it, okay? So you have to define how it is that you want to operate in your business. I can get more done in a 4-hour clip than most people can get done in 2 8-hour days. That's just how I operate, because I'm operating more effectively. Again, I'm not saying I'm perfect and that I don't have stagnation, or that I don't have days where I wake up and I don't feel inspired or I don't have motivation. It's how fast you move through those human being elements that makes the difference. All right, so we're gonna move into the $1 million exercise. This is my favorite exercise, and then we'll go to step 5. All 5 steps are critical. As I mentioned earlier, I've been doing this for a long time now. It is a formula of success that works every time to create a quantum money leap in your business, no matter how you're feeling, what you're going through, how big your support system is. I've been through a lot of rising up from the ashes moments in my business, in my personal life, period, in my financial life even. Multiple times. If anyone in business is telling you that they have not, they're full of shit, because that is part of the entrepreneurial journey. Period. End of story. I've never met a single entrepreneur that has gotten to, $1 million or $500,000 or even $100,000 that hasn't been through a lot of stuff, because my personal opinion is that the best personal development course on the face of the planet is being an entrepreneur, because your crap will be put into your face so many times over and over and over again. I can assure you of that. So it's a great evolutionary journey, and it's not like this, guys, okay? It's not like, okay, I'm gonna climb Mount Kilimanjaro and I'm gonna just one step after the other. No. This is like a roller coaster and a tsunami, and like you're being tossed about in the waves of entrepreneurship out there in the ocean. That's more the real truth of how the entrepreneurial journey is, okay? Okay, so the $1 million exercise. This was like a whole cool intuitive download that I had years ago while listening to Think and Grow Rich for like the umpteenth millionth time. For those of you who have not heard of that book, it's fantastic. Keep listening to it, keep reading it. It'll get ingrained in your neural pathways in your brain, which is awesome. And so in the book, he's telling a story. Okay, this is the funniest part. I'm listening to this for like I don't know how many, umpteenth time, right? And I just don't even remember hearing this story. And keep in mind, like, this was written back in the 20s, so it's even more of a profound story in my personal opinion. But there was this guy who was a pastor, and he wanted to he wanted $1 million to be able to speak and travel all over the globe and share his message. And he knew that in order to grow his ministry, he needed $1 million. And so he went somewhere to hear someone speak, and there was a man there that he ran into, and after speaking with him for a while, this man was very affluent, and he told this pastor, I want to give you this $1 million that you need to go and do your mission and your work that God has given you. I've got shivers all over my body telling this story because it's just so profound. Now, for someone to give someone $1 million today would be profound, right? Like, but back then even more so. And so it made me think to myself, what would I do today if I went somewhere and someone said, hey, strike up a conversation. What do you do for a living? And they said, I want to give you $1 million today. So you're going to do this exercise and you're going to blow your own freaking mind. And you can do this exercise over and over. It doesn't cost any money. It's super cool. And you just be watching out for what's going to happen, because if you combine this with client outreach, watch out. Watch out, folks. You are moving into the next quantum money realm, okay? You are going to journal, what would you do differently in your life if you had $1 million? Who would you hire? Who would you be around? Okay, you need to get into the energy and the feelings of this, like sincerely, okay? Yeah, it's a wow, Brenda. It's a wow, everybody. When I did this a couple of years ago, I had kind of reached what I would call a money ceiling. And at the time, I had a personal assistant coming 5 days a week. I had a personal chef that was coming. I had a cleaning crew. And I just didn't know what else to delegate. This was for me to get out of my delegation comfort zone, if you will. I had a tutor for my son. It was just it was like right after I went through a divorce, and it was a period of time in my life where I created a huge quantum money leap. And I did it mostly out of necessity because I knew I wasn't moving my kids out of the house they grew up in. And I also knew that I couldn't continue being the entrepreneur that I was being, and be a tutor, and be a cook, and go to the gym and be healthy. It's impossible. You can have it all. You just can't do it all, okay? So you need to get really clear on who you're going to delegate to. And you don't have to start big. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm paying $1,000 for a personal chef now. When I first started doing this and practicing the delegation aspect of my healthy business ecosystem, because for those of you who know me, you know that I teach you about how to create a healthy business ecosystem. I hired my babysitter to come vacuum for an hour once a week. Totally changed my energy. When a woman feels supported in her life and in her business, everything, I could cry telling you guys this. Everything changes, you guys, everything. When you have a supportive partner, when you have supportive children, and my children have had checklists where they just checked off their checklist and it was making a contribution to our family household. It made them feel help them feel like they were contributing. And it just made our family closer as a result. To be in a partnership with someone who supports me 100% with his love and his support and his compassion, and everything that he gives to me enriches me so much as a woman and allows me to be more fully who I am. You have to make an investment in yourself. That's why I'm so emotional right now, because I see so many women who are in tragic self-denial and they won't even invest in a freaking manicure. I used to do nails years ago, and I remember people who would be having financial difficulties, and they're like, well, I'm not going to stop doing my hair, but I'll just do my own nails at home. Don't be cheap with yourself, okay? You deserve to be invested in. If you want other people to invest in you, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to invest in yourself energetically, time-wise, and financially. And if you repeat these three things over and over again, I guarantee you that you will wake up just like I have and look around you and say, oh my God, I'm in my dream relationship. I'm in my dream home. I have an amazing, thriving relationship with my children. And again, I'm not immune to having problems or waking up and feeling frustrated with myself or hating on myself and criticizing myself. That's all part of the human journey, but it's where you're living your life most of the time. So take that action step to do the journaling exercise. You're going to get a huge level of awareness around what it is that you need to do by going back into step 2. And step 2 is, what do you need to eliminate? Right now, in the consciousness that you're in and in the energy that you're in, you might be fine with the wardrobe that you have. But when you catapult yourself and your energetic system into the $1 million exercise and you say, oh, Rebecca, I would go buy brand new clothes. I would get rid of all these clothes that have been in my closet for 20 years that have a hole in them, whatever. Or I would go buy myself a new couch. Or I would invest in a personal trainer. Or I would get a personal chef like you do. It's going to expose those components that it'll show you where you're settling right now. It'll show you exactly where you're settling. You might do the $1 million exercise and say, you know what, I'm in a miserable marriage and I would leave. I would have the financial empowerment to leave, because when women have their own money in the bank, they make very, very, very different decisions. So you have to get yourself out of your own comfort zone and catapult yourself into your future version of yourself. And the best way to expose this is by going into this $1 million exercise and exposing what you are no longer available for. Because every time you are going to up level and become a greater, grander, richer, more fulfilled version of yourself, you have to do the work. No one's going to come along and do it for you, and there's no magic pill outside of you. You are your own magic pill. And as soon as you get this and you repeat these 5 steps over and over again, you can go as fast or as slow as you are willing to go to become that next version of yourself. Because if you are not evolving, you are dying. And that is all of nature screaming that law of the universe to you. Okay, number 5 is a reality check. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people making is they don't self-assess. You don't have numbers in your business. You don't know what's working and what's not working and why. This is primarily what I do when I get on the call with people who are struggling in their business or they're struggling in their life and they don't know why. We get on the phone and I say, we're going to evaluate and assess what's working and what's not working. And then we'll look at bridging that gap. And you need to think about your current reality. How much is it costing you? Because when we talk about investing in ourselves, you need to think about how much is it costing you? Is it costing you health-wise? It's the micro things that add up to be cancer. It's the micro things that add up to be a bankrupt. It's the micro things that add up to become a divorce. These are the little things that add up, and you are dealing with them on a daily basis, and you're not evaluating and you're not assessing and you're not being completely and truthfully honest with yourself. Radical honesty is necessary for great success. Somebody put that in the comments. That's a good quote. What did I say? Great success. All right, I don't even remember. Somebody's going to put it in the comments. Sometimes these things just channel through me intuitively. But you have to take time for assessment. Sometimes people will do this life wheel assessment and they think, okay, I did that. Like, how often are you doing that? Don't wait for New Year's to come around and do that. You need to be assessing monthly. You need to be assessing daily. So that's one of the reasons why I love Brendon Burchard's High Performance Planner. It's one of the tools that I use sometimes. I have other tools that work for me. And again, this is about self-knowledge being power, and you really knowing yourself and identifying what works, what doesn't work, and continuing to assess, because at different parts and times in your life, those things are going to work for you. I don't have a personal chef right now. I don't have a personal assistant right now, and there are varying reasons for that. You know, my oldest son, I actually told him, like, I can go hire a new personal assistant, or you can do it and make money, because he's saving for a car. And then, you know, right now I'm on a healthy eating regimen that I am cooking, and I'm loving cooking, and it's taking me like 15 minutes to cook these amazing protein and green dinners every single night, and it is fulfilling to me. So it's really important to, hey Lisa, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, radical honesty is the key to great success. Thank you, Angelique. I knew someone would put it in there for me. That was a good one, guys. I'm gonna have to make a little card for Instagram or Twitter or whatever for that one. But taking the time to assess over and over again, and ask for the people that are around you, whether that's a mentor, whether it's a good friend, whether it's a mastermind partner, people that you know will be radically honest with you, okay, to give you feedback, because you have blind spots. I have blind spots. My coach knows that I am a no bullshit person. I want to know specifically if I am self-sabotaging, if I am tripping myself up, if I am blocking myself in any way from my next level of fulfillment, happiness, and wealth and abundance. So make sure you surround yourself. Do you see how all 5 of them are interwoven? They all play into the great quantum leap, okay? So we'll do a little recap here. If you have any questions, pop them into the comments. I would love to answer any questions or any challenges, anything that you have. That's my favorite thing to do, is to support women to really be that best version of themselves and live their most fulfilled, happy, wealthy, healthy life. Words, thoughts, and stories was number 1. So paying attention to those. I gave you a journaling exercise. For those of you who are just popping on, you'll want to go back to the beginning and re-listen to this or re-watch this. Get around successful people. Also know who you need to eliminate. Number 3, what actions do you need to take? Whatever it is that you're resisting is likely the thing that's going to move your next level of health, wealth, and business ahead. Then I gave you the $1 million exercise to do. Ladies, do it over and over again. I promise it's going to totally change your game big time. And it'll help you really get to know yourself, and also where you're settling for things that are no longer serving you, because you're meant to outgrow things. You're meant to outgrow certain relationships. You're meant to outgrow certain exercise regimens or certain eating habits or certain friends or certain family members. If you are doing the work, I promise you, you will be outgrowing things. I know I sure have. And it doesn't make the other person wrong. Again, this is your personal journey. It's not about, well, they're not doing this, and you do your work. You do you. That's your job. That's why God gave you one life to manage, and that is enough most of the time, right? And then finally, to do the reality check and to have reflection. So if you're tuning in and you are watching the replay, please put #replay in the comments. I would love to know that. I think it's important. We are meant to outgrow. Yes, it's totally true. We are meant to outgrow things. Look at nature, okay? Even a snake sheds its skin, things are evolving, things are, outgrowing. You see it all in nature. That's why I teach about the healthy business ecosystem, because it's a micro template for what's happening in the world. It's a micro template for what's happening in the universe. It's a micro template for what's happening in your body. And everyone has a business ecosystem that's either thriving or it's dying. And if you are not consistently having quantum money leaps in your business, then you're likely not, you got to do a business ecosystem check. You got to look at your sales. You got to look at delegation. You've got to look at quantum money leaks versus quantum money leaps. And then what we talked about in step number 1, which is your words, your thoughts, and your actions. And most people are completely unaware of what those words, thoughts, and actions are. Hey, Lucy. Hey, Julia. Hey, Elise. Welcome. So good to see you guys here. Hey, Lara. Welcome. So anyone who is interested in taking a look at their business ecosystem and having a healthy business assessment, please PM me or pop a note in the comments and tag me. I have a couple of spaces open next week before I leave for my 2.5 week long vacation to do a couple of healthy business ecosystems. Oh, thank you. It's so good to see you here. This is a super powerful live. I'm actually really blown away. I've been wanting to go live all and I kept getting a no from the universe. And then all of a sudden it was like, today's the day and here's the topic. So anyways, anyone who wants a healthy business ecosystem evaluation and assessment, please contact me directly. I will let you know if I have space in my calendar for a few more people. Thank you. And I know, Michelle, right? This is I blew myself away. I'm gonna go back and take notes. I'm so glad you guys loved it. Happy Friday. It was so great to connect with all of you guys, and I will see you again next week. And any questions, even if you're watching the replay, pop them in the comments. And happy Friday, happy weekend, everybody. Go enjoy life. Lots of love. Mwah.